Often as landscape photographers or tourists, myself included, head to the easiest and most popular spots: Tunnel View in Yosemite, Banff in Canada, Horseshoe Bend in Arizona, or the rice fields of Bali. These spots are popular and rightfully busy, as they're some of the greatest spots on the whole planet. That being said, some visits to these places, especially during peak season, can simply feel like you're checking a destination off a list. In hopes of a more unique and memorable experience, I booked my ticket from London to Ukraine. I set out to find the Tunnel of Love, a tunnel formed by trees and located in a tiny town in the middle of Ukraine. After a few-hour plane ride, I touched down in the capital of Kyiv, to an empty airport at 3 a.m., where I jumped on to a subway and the journey would just begin. My first struggle was finding the right van that would take me to the city of Lusk. It quickly became very apparent that very few people spoke any English. After scrambling around and trying to figure out what van to get on, as the time approached, I jumped on a van and hoped it was the right one. Alright, so we're about 3 hours into the 5-hour journey, assuming I'm on the right bus. Luckily I had picked the right bus, and I headed through the countryside and had some interesting experiences, such as this random shaking of the bus, but I made it to the destination of Lusk. Here I'd spend the night before catching another van which would take me closer to the Tunnel of Love, which I planned on visiting the next morning. Alright, 1% battery and 4 kilometers to walk. So I'm going to be doing this by guesses or finding a coffee shop somewhere. Alright, I found a place to charge my phone in the nick of time. Right at 1%. Got a coffee. Blasting some intense music. Little pizza shop. I feel like I'm at a rave. I'm not exaggerating when I say that language barrier is insane here. I ordered a chicken sandwich and I got a pizza with no sauce, with cheese. It's pretty good though. Quickly, if you guys enjoy the film, if you could do me a huge favor and hit the thumbs up and the red subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. After spending the night in Lusk, I would head off to the small town of Klevan on another bus, which would be where the Tunnel of Love is located. Machine in that store, since I can't read what it is, and I ended up with a nice little espresso. Walked past these yesterday. These trees were bright red, so they went from red to dead in one night. I hope that's not the case with the Tunnel of Love trees. That'd be a disaster. Look how many people are in this bus. I'm 4 minutes out, I think. The bus leaves at 9, I believe. So I have to try to cross the road in time. Alright, 3 minutes to get the last few feet and then find this. I think that might be our bus. After getting off at the nearest bus stop, I'd have a couple kilometer walk to get into the town of Klevan. So that was a pretty wild bus journey. I think the last time I left off was I was scrambling to get onto the bus, and then I got on it last minute, and then the guy just kind of started yelling in Ukrainian and closed the door, but it turned out it was the right one, so that's good. Now I got dropped off and it was just snowing on the bus ride, so it's really cold, and I think now we walk 5 kilometers and then hopefully find this. I gotta take a right on that. On a positive note, the trees are looking great. They're looking very fall, unlike in the other city where they were all dead. But check this out. Woo. Oh my god, I think I finally made it after all that journeying. Feels good, even if the letdown now, I'm still happy. because that was about the journey, not the destination, right? What's that cheesy quote? So the reason why the trees are shaped like a tunnel is because 3 times a day a train transporting wood comes along these tracks, and over the years it's cut the branches in the shape of a tunnel, obviously, as the trees have grown. Oh, it's so cool. Look at the leaves are just falling down right now. It's like raining leaves. And also, it's a fairly popular place to visit in Ukraine, obviously. It's one of their most beautiful sites, but in terms of tourism from outside of Ukraine, it's pretty rare. About 1 kilometer in, I started there, and I think it is definitely getting thicker on this side. So I heard that it goes for like 4 miles or so, and the further you go in, the deeper and thicker it gets and less people, so we're gonna journey on in. As I strolled deeper into the tunnel of love alone, I looked up to find a dog barreling toward me, looking like he was gonna jump and attack me. With my heart pounding out of my chest, just before he reached me, he stopped. Turns out he was just looking for someone to follow, and he followed me for the next few hours and was one of the nicest dogs I've ever met. So I walked about 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers along the tracks, and besides those people I saw at the very beginning, I haven't seen another person. After we walked the tunnel of love for a few hours, we'd eventually run into his family, and this is where I would say my goodbyes.